We have Christian here. Um, as always, thank you for joining. I'll have the record on and we'll do the same way we did with Zoran. Let's start it off, Willie P.
First off, congratulations, Christian. I know that this is something that
Thank
you've
you
been
very
waiting
much.
on. In terms of when you felt like you had the harness on the team as the head man, what was the moment that stands out to you where you felt like this is a job I can legitimately get and keep for the long haul?
Um, I always had, from day one, even though the situation was not the easiest, the impression that I was working with a group of players that I had a good connection, that I liked the way they were. I always liked them from day one. It's a group, obviously, that needed getting together, gelling together from day one, even before when I was working as an assistant. So, but I have always liked to work with this group. I don't know if there was a moment in which I felt the way you described. I think that it was a gradual process. And obviously at the beginning, when they see a coach as a number two and then they start to see him as a number one, there is always a transition going on. And you have to convince the players that as a number one, you know what you're talking about and what kind of principles of play you want to give to the players collectively. And also how you are improving individually each one of them, because ultimately their career is about to get the best of what they can during their career. And there is a lot of mobility in our work. And so I think that it was a gradual process that we started to know each other more and better on a daily basis, but the feeling was always good. And honestly, I was never thinking, you know, I must do something to get the job. My focus, I said many times, and I keep repeating it, was just to get the best for this club in those circumstances. And then I was not to worry whether I'm going to get the job or not. My worries was to give the best and to try to create an identity to this football group. And then after, it will be up to them to decide who they're going to go for.
I'm glad you mentioned identity, and I think that identity really came out in the final 5 games. What, from a confidence and identity standpoint, was this club able to unlock with the way they finished down the stretch?
It's, you know, in football, like in life and in sport in general, is you require a little bit of time by the time that everybody understand and digest the information. So what we were trying to do here is to be very clear about the principle of play and to increase the intensity of training and then obviously of playing. So I always repeat this to the guys that we need to have players that are really efficient and good in their position, but they also have to have intensity, mental and physical, because without that, you're only half player, in my opinion. So until I can see both, it's difficult to go places. And this is what we need to keep working on and improving.
And lastly, from a clerical standpoint, will you be adding anyone to the coaching staff? Do you expect everybody that you finish the season with back from the coaching staff? How will that take place?
Yeah, I'm very happy with the coaching staff that I found here. It was not easy because we never worked together previously, not only with the coaching staff, meaning the technical staff, but also with the performance department. And I've been very pleased how things went, how we got to collaborate, because we increased intensity gradually. So we had a plan on doing that. In the process, we didn't have many injuries, muscular injuries, I want to say. We had a lot of availability, so much so that I've been told many times that players that after became focal points in our team, I left them out of the squad, which means they were available to play. So I was very happy with how everybody have been working in that period, and we will try to keep that to give continuity, but at the same time maybe adding 2 or 3 elements to the coaching staff.
Thank you again. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, move to Jorge.
Congratulations, Christian, on
Thank
your
you, Jorge.
contract.
Thank you.
Zoran mentioned to us that, recently you rejected an offer, I believe, from a Champions League team to be an assistant coach there. And prior to that, you had an offer at Crystal Palace before you came here as well. What has motivated you to come to Charlotte and to be part of this squad and to want to continue to be part of this squad?
Yeah, it's true what Zoran told you, but what motivates me is not necessarily what can motivate or what motivated me 10 years ago, in the sense I am ambitious, because you might think, if you are really ambitious, you need to go and work with in better leagues. Like Premier League at the moment is the best league in the world, and in clubs that compete in Champions League. But for me, at this stage of my life and my career, I see success or ambition in a different way. And this football club for me is perfect, because it's a growing project. It's a project in which there is a lot of work to be done. There are the right people involved, both in front office and the second team, in the academy, in the playing staff, and the place, Charlotte itself. I like it a lot. I love the supporters, the atmosphere that they've been able to create in 1 year. It's really something remarkable. And so that feels the most natural thing. And at the moment, my heart and soul is in Charlotte, nowhere else.
Nice. Awesome. And then just expectations heading into year 2. It feels like you have a good base of players to work on. You missed out on playoffs by just a few points. What should a fan's expectations be going into year 2? Is playoff a realistic thing for you guys? Is that something that you're talking to your squad about?
Yeah, it's a good question, because in my opinion, it's very important when you work in any professional club to manage expectations, in the sense that we are still, as you said, a club in its first year. As you can see, we are still working. The boys work, and I can assure the fans that they work very well with a lot of intensity, despite we are in postseason, just to prepare the game on Friday. So the expectations is, obviously we want to do better than we did this year. So the natural progression would be to aim to the playoff. But knowing that there are big clubs that they've been working hard and well in this league for many years previously, that they missed on playoff. And so they will be even stronger. They also will make improvements to the playing squad, because a lot of time, you hear that we have already a good base, which we have, and then we just have to add, and then we will be, automatically better. But all the other teams will do the same. They have a base, a strong base, and then they will add big players to that. And so every time the standard is getting higher and higher. So we need to be, as I said many times, humble and ambitious, to work hard, and obviously to add quality to our playing squad, which we will try to do. Keep the vast majority. That's already success, in my opinion, for a club that comes the first year, and you have a lot of unknown, and to create a base that you can rely on straight away, it's something that it doesn't have to be taken lightly, because a lot of clubs, even in the past, and that can happen, they have to reshuffle and to change, I don't know, half or maybe 3/4 of the squad. But in this case, likely I think the front office work well, and we have been having as a base that we can build upon, and our job is to get the best players we can for Charlotte FC. So to improve, not only to improve the team, but also to improve the players that they are here, because competition is the best form of stimulation, in my opinion.
Nice. And then finally, in your 2, potentially 3 years here, what do you hope to accomplish, or what kind of legacy do you want to leave here?
Yeah, so you are now, you will go back to this question on this day, 2 years time, but you said, yeah, okay. No, I think the second part of your question I like the most, because I insisted all the time about giving an identity to this team. This is the most important thing, because this is something you cannot buy. You can buy to a certain degree players, but you cannot buy standards. You cannot buy a clear playing style. You cannot buy, a clear identity. So this is the most important thing, because you have to build it on a daily basis. So this is the legacy I want to leave behind. And obviously, if we manage to do that, and if we work well, if we work hard, because to work hard and well, they have to go hand in hand. Sometimes you work hard, but not well. Sometimes you work well, but not hard. And so to do both, then with luck, because this is an element that you need in any league, in any walk of life, then hopefully we want to give satisfaction to our supporters and to give them something that they can be proud of.
Thank you. Hopefully we look back at this after you're holding an MLS Cup. So
That would be great. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Jorge. Sam Spencer.
Hey, Coach, congratulations.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you.
So first, I want to go to the identity question, because a lot of times during the course of the year, many of these press conferences, you've talked about identity. Now that we can say that we are in the Christian Lattanzio era of Charlotte FC, what to you is the concise definition of Charlotte's identity? How would you describe Charlotte FC's identity?
Well, first of all, Sam, is a work in progress. We are we want to create a club that has got high standard, and high standard, I mean, there is a good work ethic. So for example, it translates in my personal work with the players, that we have to be able to train with a lot of intensity on a daily basis, mentally. So when we are on the pitch, we give everything that we can, so that that becomes our DNA. We want to translate that into the game. So we want to play high. We want to be aggressive with the ball. We want to be aggressive without the ball. We want to create chances, and we want to press the ball as much as we can. Sometimes this is possible. Sometimes it is not possible, because you find a opposition that is as good, if not better than you, and you have to adapt to those circumstances. But the idea is that we want to be protagonists with the ball and without the ball. And to do that they are all good words, but you have to train daily, hard, and to overcome difficulties, because the more we will get success, let's say, in games, the more the opposition will become they will study us, like we will do with the teams that they have success, and you try to find countermeasures. So we need to be able to evolve, but we need to be able always to have this intensity in the work that has to be our characteristics.
And going off of that, is there any position right now on the team where you feel like it's out of step with that identity, or is there any position where you feel like the depth chart is very aligned with that identity?
No, I think the boys are really clear about what we want to do, and every position at the moment, we have a team that can compete. It showed that some of the best teams in the East, we competed against them lately, and we gave them strong game. So but our aim, like not just us, every football club, is to improve. This is true from Real Madrid onwards, or downwards, as you want to see it, that you have to, the job of every football club is to improve in every position. And I guess, the job is also to be out and to find a coach already better than me for the next, because it's the way it works in our business. So we want to add real quality to the squad. And this is our objective. Obviously, to go back to your question, this particular question is that we need to go out and find players that they are aligned to this identity. So we want to have players that at the same time have quality, that they are really good in their own position, but they also bring a lot of intensity in the way they play.
And then final identity question and final question for me. So I think over the course of the year, we had 20 to 25 different players start for the team in MLS play. Based on the identity you're trying to create and based on the team you're trying to create, how does that influence, out of the 20 players who are still with the club, who started over the past year, who you and Zoran will look to protect coming up on the expansion draft on the 11th?
Yeah, again, it's a good question because this, again, a success that the club has made. We have a lot of players, much more than the one that we want to protect, because we are happy with a lot of them. So this is an exercise that we have been doing, we keep doing. And obviously we can't say now how we are gonna protect or not, but let's say that we are happy with the base that we have, and then we want to build on that.
Thank you, Coach, and congrats again.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll move to Claudio, and we have Gwen off camera here to help translation if necessary.
Hello.
Yes.
Bueno, chao, Cristian. Gwen va a traducir para mí. Cristian, cuando un entrenador renueva un contrato, nuevo en un contrato, hay gente que está de acuerdo, hay gente que no está. Yo no quiero usar a la gente como hacen los periodistas, más allá de que recibo muchos mensajes de que no están de acuerdo. Me voy a poner primero yo como que no estoy de acuerdo, pero verdaderamente no importa mucho lo que yo pienso. ¿Qué le dices a la gente que no estaba de acuerdo con tu continuidad, a los fanáticos?
But the first thing I'm gonna say is that I respect everybody's opinion, because everybody has the right to express what the belief is in football. I don't want to say too much to the people that they are not in my corner, because the words are words, but it's the work that and how the team plays that in the end counts and matters, you know. So I want my work to talk, and I want the team on the pitch to do the talk and to try, obviously, to convince the supporters that I respect, that they don't agree with my appointment, to change the mind. I would like them to feel that is a team that they enjoy watching, and hopefully that they don't have any preconception about that they keep an open mind. And then I'm sure that if the team will not play well and will not do what the people expect, more people will be on your corner. And I hope that on the opposite side, if we do well and we play a good brand of football and we make Charlotte FC proud of the football we play, that they will change the mind. But, you know, there's no point for me to go and, try to convince people that they are not convinced. Only the work that I do and the way that the team play can convince them or not.
Okay, thank you. And another one is, Jordi Alcibar no jugó mucho tiempo la pasada temporada, bueno, esta temporada. ¿Lo tienes en tu mente para el próximo año? ¿Y qué debe hacer, en este caso, Jordi, para poder tener más minutos?
Listen, Claudio, Jordi Alcivar is a player that we have here. I train him on a daily basis, and you must understand, like I'm sure it's easy to understand, that every coach wants to play the team that in that moment give you the best chance to win the game. Sometimes the coach is right, a lot of time, in my case, can be wrong, but I always do my decisions are based on what I see on a weekly basis, and also the competition that there is in that particular position. You might do really well, and the player is doing better than you in that moment. You just have to carry on. So I spoke with Jordi on a number of occasions. He's a player that I like. He knows what I think about him. I have been starting to talk to him on day one, even when I was an assistant, and I was asking certain things to him. But this is conversation that we have, and I think he has a big potential, Jordi, and he knows what he has to do. I ask basic things. I ask from the players, and he's very clear about what him, but not just him, everybody in the squad needs to do. The door is there is no preconception from my part. The door is always open to everybody that trains well and hard, like it happened with Dani, like it happened with Camille, like it happened with the other players in the squad. And so the one thing to do is to do your best and to give your best on a daily basis. That's all you can do.
The last one, una que no tiene que ver con esto, pero si tienes ganas de responderla, ¿tienes alguna selección favorita para ganar el Mundial? ¿Y por qué?
No, if I don't say France, my wife and my son are gonna be upset. So no, but joking apart, I'm gonna partly enjoying, because emotionally, given that Italy is not in the World Cup, is difficult. But I'm gonna enjoy the World Cup, and honestly, there are certain nations that I like, because I had allegiance when I was a kid with players that I loved. I loved Maradona growing up, Falcao from Brazil. So, but at the same time, first of all, I'll be rooting for the players that we have here. So Poland obviously is in my mind, with Karol and hopefully Camille. But at the same time, I always want the team that deserves the most, that plays the best football, and that plays the football the way I like, to win. So I don't have any particular favorite at the moment. I just want to sit back, enjoy the World Cup, and to wish the best team to win it.
Grazie, and felicitations.
Grazie, Claudio. Thank you.
All right, Ashley.
Coach, congratulations again. And speaking of congratulations, who was the first person that you told when this news happened? And of course, obviously, you've been training with the players throughout the contract negotiations, but to finally put pen to paper, what was their reaction when they, found out, okay, it's official, you've signed the contract?
I think I think there was a lot of rumors going on for so long that I think now is like, it feels like a soap opera, so I don't think that I've been told congratulations many times, even when I actually didn't sign. And honestly, Ashley, I know I am a bit different in that, but of course I'm very happy. I feel I'm blessed. I am grateful. And I am so happy to be in this position, but at the same time, my only focus is not so much to celebrate my contract, but is to think how we can move forward and to improve the group. I think I hope you believe, because this my sole concentration is on that. So it's not so much on self-celebration, but it's on moving forward and to give the best for this football club for as long as I can.
And of course, heading into the second season, you came in and had a large hand in helping develop the roster for the inaugural season. But what will you do differently? Will there be more emphasis on perhaps the upcoming trade window or being more strategic about the players? Well, of course, players weren't protected last year because the expansion draft was in your hands, but what will be done differently in terms of building the roster this season?
But, you know, to be wise after the event is not so difficult. So going back, there will be certain things that obviously we would do differently, but it's pointless to talk about that. What we have to do is to get together like we have done in the past and to be really clear about the characteristics of players that we want and to get the best players that we can under the circumstances of the, you know, the financial possibility, the salary cap, and all the rules that they are in MLS, to get the best squad possible for Charlotte FC to start the 2023 season in the best possible way, in the strongest possible way. This is our aim. So over the year, we have made some mistakes. We have made some good moves, and we need to learn from the mistakes and move on. But I think we have a good group of work that now has a harmony, and we understand each other very well. Part of my responsibility is to make sure that I communicate clearly what kind of characteristics I want in players that we will bring in.
And what update can you give us on Vinicius Melo? He missed the entire campaign due to injury. Will you expect him for preseason? Is he training now? Where does he stand?
Yeah, he's starting to train with us. He's a player in which I believe, that I count on. And so I'm looking forward to start training with him more and more. He's a good kid. He had a difficult first year in many different ways, but he shows that he has this resilience and character to overcome difficulties. He had good people around him, from the staff, especially from the player staff as well, from the players themselves. And so we have to remember this is just a young guy, and we have to give him time to establish himself. But we like him a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley.
All right, I think I saw Steve's hand. We'll end with Steve here.
Hi, Christian. I'm glad now that I can finally get my editor to stop using the interim tag, even though I stopped using it months ago.
Thank you, Steve.
With that, yeah, well, you know how I felt is like, if you got the job, you got the job, and it's always, you know, somewhat interim. But question is, like, next year, you've had a good relationship with the Charlotte Independents, with you know, at least 3 to 4 players there, and being influential in what they've done this season. Next year, it's moving to MLS Next, and it's going to be entirely through here. So it's going to be a matter of filling out that roster and doing things. What are you looking towards to do with that? I mean, you've brought in some excellent technical staff to work with them. With that, how do you see that impacting what you're doing with the first team?
Yeah, no, Steve, totally. First of all, I want to thank the Charlotte Independents. Mike, as a coach, has been, we have been communicating at times regarding the players. I know that they were going in a good environment when we sent them there. Whenever we could, we tried to help them as much as possible. They also did that with us, so it was a good two-way communication. Going forward, I think obviously the club needs to be in line with the best practice. So we have an MLS Next Pro, like you mentioned. We have an excellent coaching staff and technical staff, like you said. And I was exchanging messages with Jose just not long ago, because I think it's very important that we create together with him this identity, cultural identity, football cultural identity for this football club, where the principle of play are pretty much the same. Of course, everybody has got his own nuances and he will have his own way of coaching certain things. But we have to be very aligned for the greater good of the football club, so that when the young players come through, and we have some very good talent, they will find the same, more or less the same information. There will be something, obviously, that will be different, certain principles, because it's very difficult to have exactly the same philosophy in exactly the same things, but the base has to be the same, and I think we are more or less on that page, both teams.
Okay, I mean, essentially that's it for right now. I have other questions, but we can deal with those at another point. Thank you for your time and congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Christian. And we will get this to you guys.